Hello, I'm Eric Singer. This is Argonne's Public Affairs, Science, and Technology Past Fusion Cell Flash Briefing for the week of June 17, 2019.
I was really interested in looking at how both the municipality and the police department responded to this incident just to further prepare and help others be further prepared for something like this happened in their jurisdiction.
Veteran Public Information Officer Christina Hallingse with the Asheville, North Carolina Police Department studied the Virginia Beach mass shooting that happened on Friday, May 31st at 4 p.m. An engineer for the Public Works Department entered one of the city buildings and started shooting. 12 people died. Others were hurt. The suspect later died at the hospital after a shootout with police. First news conference was 3 hours later at 7 p.m. Another was 2.5 hours later. The last briefing was Saturday afternoon. Throughout each, a focus theme mixed with the evolving information.
The last media briefing that they did was at 3 o'clock p.m. In this, they really stood behind that Virginia Beach was a city of resiliency and resolve, that they wouldn't define themselves by this incident, but that they would define themselves as having love and compassion for neighbors that they lost and their families. They really just during this press conference were dedicated to bringing Virginia Beach together. The last thing they wanted during this time, and it was a theme throughout all of their media briefings, was to do anything to separate the community, but bring them together because there is a grieving process to all of this, and there's months left in that grieving process. There are many people that were impacted and many lives that were lost.
There was a plethora of positives to push that theme and information. Christina believes the Virginia Beach Police Department was Twitter terrific to share information with the public. Included in their crisis plan was another strategy you should plan for now.
So I have no doubt in my mind that the city of Virginia Beach adhered to the best practice of having a black website. So this website, because of how well it was done, was obviously prepared well in advance of this incident. And this is really common in communities because when you have this type of major, mass, large-scale incident that's going to attract nationwide, international attention, all eyes are on you. And you don't have the time to create a website on the fly. So having these black websites available where sort of it's a template that's laid out and in place where you can just supplement information in, you can tell this is something that they obviously did. And this is a best practice from the smallest to the largest of agencies. Another great best practice is to have crisis communication plans. Like if something like this were to happen, who needs to be present? Who will be speaking? Where will you be sharing information? Where will you be executing press conferences and media briefings? If you have all of this laid out, when the time for this crisis to occur happened, I believe the city of Virginia Beach made very few mistakes. But a few lessons learned for myself was very early on in an incident, particularly where you have mass casualties, do not provide the number of victims early on. In the case of Virginia Beach, in their first press conference, their chief stated that there were 11 victims who lost their lives. However, at the second press conference, the chief of police announced that there were 12. And this caused a lot of confusion amongst media present. There were a lot of questions regarding, well, how did you not know there was another person? Did they pass away later on? And it was questions that he wasn't able to ask at the time. So really, when you're super early into an incident, it's good to just say that they were victims and they were injured and not provide a definitive number until that's really, really, really clear and you've gotten confirmation on that.
Another lesson learned is a growing trend when it comes to mass shootings about suspect name use, and something that Christina Hallingse agrees with 100%.
The direct quote, which I found really powerful from Virginia Beach, was, "We're going to mention his name once and then he will forever be referred to as the suspect. Our focus now is on the dignity and respect to the victims in this case and to their families." Of course, as PIOs, we hope to never have to deal with a tragedy like this occurring in our community. However, we have to be prepared and have responses in place in the event of something like this occurring.
If you'd like to hear previous Alexa Flash briefings, like the Argonne Past Fusion Cell Facebook page and connect on Twitter and Instagram at Past Fusion Cell. You can also check out the Past Fusion Cell's online toolkit for useful templates and information. Go to pastfusion.gss.anl.gov. This is your Flash Briefing.